Hi everyone, I'm Hannah Bronfman and welcome to In the Know Baby Banter, where we'll be talking with newbie moms and experts about all the life-changing topics that come with motherhood. From pregnancy and postpartum wellness to balancing being a full-time mom and having a career. There's so much we have to talk about, so let's dive in. Hello, Karolina Kurkova. We have the Karolina, supermodel, super mom. I'm so excited to chat with you today. I have some burning questions for you we were just talking about electrolytes.
Thank you for the intro, Hannah. Thank you so
Yeah, of
much.
course. We
I
were just talking about electrolytes because I feel like, are going to need all of the extra potassium and all the nutrients as you go into your delivery. And I'm dying to know if you are planning another water birth because you've had two water births now with both of your sons. And this is your third pregnancy. Are you hoping to do a round 3 water birth?
Absolutely. So as you said, I've done home water birth twice with my boys, one in New York, one in Miami. And with my little baby girl, that's also my birth plan. It's to do home water birth. Actually, today we are gonna blow up the birthing pool, test it out. That's very important that your birthing plan is to do it at home and in the water. That you blow up the pool a little bit ahead of time, leave it overnight, make sure there's no holes, make sure you try your hose and adapters that you have a way to get in the nice warm water. So that will be homework for my husband. Probably the only homework that he has to do has needed to do this whole time, getting ready for baby number 3. I feel like that's definitely will be his job.
Yeah.
Make sure, and when I'm going to labor, that he has to really set up and make sure it's ready to go. Yeah, it is my plan. I've done it twice. I'm actually 38 weeks, so I'm officially in a zone to do it at home. If everything else is okay, you're not allowed to do it before. If it's like earlier than 3 weeks, it's not good to do. Obviously the lungs are not as developed, so it's not super safe to do at home. You need to
Yeah.
be in the hospital, you need to be close to incubator, or just to really help the lungs, to have the lung support. So
Yeah.
officially that is okay for now. If everything else is looking good, all my blood work is looking good, all my everything is looking good. So it really could be any day, Hannah. I mean, I could finish this interview and my water might break during the interview. I'd be like, I gotta go push this baby out.
Oh
That
my
was kind of
God.
funny.
What an exciting time. Okay, so it's been a little while since your last birth. It's been, I think, 6 years.
Yes.
So what are you doing anything different this time around? Are you just as excited? I also kind of want to know, with your first baby, how you decided on a water birth and how the nerves must have been very different, obviously, than your third pregnancy, third water birth. You probably feel a little bit more comfortable doing it now. But tell me about the vibe and how you decided that a water birth was going to be right for you.
So I didn't know anything about birth when I was waiting my first son, which was almost 12 years ago. So it's a
Wow.
long time ago. My mom gave birth in a hospital. Me and my brother were both preemies. We were born at 7 months, so we had to be in incubators. We had a lot of issues. She didn't breastfeed us. So it's not like something kind of my mom went through and I kind of inherited, or I can talk to my mom about all this because I mean, I didn't, right? Hospital, no breastfeeding. I breastfed both of my kids just because we were preemies, and I, had to be in ICU for 3 months, and I had a lot of problems as a little baby. So, I couldn't take example of my mom
Yeah.
necessarily. And it's interesting, when I was pregnant, obviously it was the first baby with my husband, and we were on this journey together. And we wanted to learn and understand what are our options. I lived in New York at that time, and the cesarean rate in New York was very high that time. And
It still is.
it's exactly.
Yeah.
And I just felt, if I like everything more healthier, and I'm always lean more towards things natural and holistic. I mean, I'm not, you know, like a yogi person where, or I mean, I am yogi, but like in a sense, like it's not something like, oh yeah, for sure, peace and love. I'm just gonna do it at home and whatever. Like I didn't know anything about all of
Yeah.
this. And we really went on this journey to educate ourselves. And we met two women at that time. Actually, they were both actresses. One was living in LA, one in London. And they both just did one home birth and one water birth. And they really opened our eyes. We love both of these women. We know them. We really identify with them, and that's kind of how we started to look into this. Okay, that's interesting. Home and water birth. I didn't know that was an option. How does that work? How does that look like? What are the pros and cons? So we really looked at everything from birthing centers to hospital births to home birth, water birth. What are the pros and cons? And I have to say, I was very lucky that my husband kind of was on the same page. He felt same about everything. And, it was it's not just, it was a decision like, okay, maybe they did it, it's cool to do. We really looked into all our facts and research. We looked at documentaries, Business of Being Born, a
Mm-hmm.
great documentary to watch,
Yeah.
Hypnotic Birth, and just also for me, finding out that Christy Tollington, Cindy Crawford also did home births, women that I knew and kind of looked up to and respected, gave me that confidence that is something that probably I could do. That is something women like me
Mm-hmm.
did it, have done it, and had great experiences. And then having my husband on board. And so that's kind
Yeah.
of what was our decision. I'm not someone who feels great at hospitals. I mean, personally, I'm not, I feel like it does changes the way you feel when you come in, you see the light, the smell. I don't know, just it does tins you up, and birth really the most important thing that I've learned because I've done it two times. It's be as relaxed as possible. And there's nothing more relaxing and comforting than being in your home.
Mm-hmm.
For me, right? Like you already are in your own bacteria, you're less likely to get bacteria. You feel good. It's your home. You feel comfortable. Um, but it's not for everybody. I always say it's not for everybody. Everybody needs to educate themselves, and they need to
Yeah.
figure out what feels right for them. But what I'm really big on, I'm encouraging it's educate yourself. Learn
Yeah.
about the process. Don't have people just scared you or tell you to go a certain way. It is your birth. It is a beautiful birth. It's not meant to be, it doesn't have to be something um, dangerous or torturous or
Yeah.
whatever we have this idea of what it should be. It is a natural thing. It's something women done for many, many years before. They're still doing it in fields by themselves without a midwife, without a doctor, without a doula. So we know it's possible, and we know we women are designed for this. We can do this. And we really very important wherever you give birth, trust trust the process, trust your body,
Yeah.
and really trust this baby. The baby's doing most of the hardest work.
Yeah.
The baby's going through the canal and pushing its way. It's for the biggest job, like for me, I feel like, is this be as relaxed, as present, and yeah, as relaxed as I can be, and just really trusting the moment, the process. And you know what? Nothing is going to be 100%, right? Like people, even now, I'm scared. Yes, I've done this before. I know what to expect. It is the third time, it's a new time. Nothing it's alike, no experience it's alike. And of course, I'm a little scared. Is there going to be okay? How is it going to be? But that's just the unknown, right, of life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
nothing, it's always going to be 100% sure. And you have to manifest, you have to trust and believe, and also then be willing to navigate with whatever's meant to be. If I have to go in a hospital, if I have to do something because I have to be safe for me and my baby, I'm going to do it.
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of how I
I
look at it.
love that mentality. I think that is so beautiful, and like you're just so true to yourself and like what your desires are, and the fact that you and your husband are just on the same page, like that is just It's really beautiful, and I'm like so excited for you. When we were trying to figure out like what our birth plan was going to be, I definitely considered an at-home birth, and I think, as you pointed out, like C-section rate was so high. um you know the stats around women of color and like the mortality rate amongst women in childbirth with women of color is outstandingly high, 12 times more likely to have a complication in New York State if you are a woman of color giving birth in a hospital. So I was really nervous about having a hospital birth. And so I was looking into options around how I could potentially have a home birth. And ultimately, we decided to do a hospital birth because our home is in Long Island. Our house in New York is under renovation, and our home in Long Island is almost like 2 hours away from a hospital. So I just was a little nervous about if a complication happened, how long it would take me to get to the hospital. So ultimately, and then by the way, and then I ended up having to be induced because the baby didn't come out, like didn't want to come out. So it's
Yeah,
like
no, of course.
I had all the ideas, and then I ended up even having to be induced, which was like not the plan. But then I just, the whole thing about just going with the flow and like doing whatever the baby like needs to happen was like something that I've just felt like I had to be super flexible and just like kind of go with the flow. So even how you were just saying, like, obviously this is what feels right for you, but if something happens, like you just have to like go with the flow, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So
I think that's important. And again, and that's just, and not beating yourself up for it, whatever the result, whatever the outcome is. Maybe it's not the
yeah,
way you wanted to plan to. I think, and that's hard for us women, right? Because we wanted to be, I mean, I think most women, we want things to be like how we want it to be perfect, want it to be nice, we want it to be special and beautiful. That's like the feminine part of us. Um, but I think, yeah, it's important that, we're doing the best we can, and whatever's meant to be, it will be. And, as long as we're all healthy, and that's what we can, ask for. And in the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
you mentioned manifesting, and I'm a huge believer in manifestation. And I know that you are just like, you love like holistic and wellness and all the things. So what are some of the things that you're doing right now that really like bring you joy and keep you grounded as you like are coming up like to this main event, meeting your baby, that are like the things that you love to do for yourself?
Okay, because this is my third child and I have, well, three other men, including my husband, it's not my first one. So there's not that much time of nesting, relaxing, preparing, let's say, because it's busy time, right? Like, again, I'm the woman of the
Yeah.
house, and, boys, they're like, Mommy, I need you. Mom, where's this? And Mom. So, it's been definitely busy. I don't get to sit down much, and I'm also not that person who ever like sits down. I like to be productive. I have to say, with this third one, I'm definitely prepare much more ahead of time. Like with my other ones, I'm like, okay, I'll get a few things, and then we'll see what I really would want and need. Now with this one, because knowing I have two other kids that I really want to make sure I need to function for, and that's going to be a whole new thing. I personally have to figure it out. How do I manage my time, my energy, and divide my everything, because I have an almost 12-year-old, 6-year-old, and I'm gonna have a newborn, and I have a husband. Plus, I also have work and businesses I have to kind of really focus on.
Yep.
How am I gonna do that, right? Like
Yeah.
that little bit
So you have
overwhelms
your
me.
hands, yeah, you have your hands
That
fully
overwhelms me,
full.
and I really want to make sure I want to be there for my baby, and it's so important. But also know I need to be there for my two other boys, because I feel like it's really important, and I don't want to get them lost. Like, I think very easily we can get lost in the baby thing, and it's just like like I have to kind of remind myself, and of course I'll get lost in the baby thing, and they'll be part of that, and want to include them, and make sure they can feed her. They hold her. I think that's really important, so they feel like it's also their baby, not just mommy's baby. And don't touch, don't talk, don't do this. I think I don't want to do that. But I also need to learn, like, okay, it's okay. I need to let go. I need to put the baby down. I need to have somebody else help me with the baby while like, look while she sleeps, so I can go and do the book time reading with my 6-year-old, or
Yeah.
go see my 12-year-old. He started playing hockey. Like, go see him train
Yeah.
hockey. So he feels like that mommy still cares about me and not just this baby alone. So
Yeah.
where they don't, maybe, where they don't start resenting the baby.
Absolutely.
But things that I've been doing, definitely I like to be organized. So just getting things organized and labeled and kind of, you know, put out, just like it kind of makes me also like that gives me, yes, I'm getting ready and organizing, but it also gets me ready in the mood of like, okay, she's a girl and it's gonna be baby. This is gonna be her space. It's kind of creating that space for her. Definitely working out. It's been huge throughout my whole pregnancy. I've been, definitely trying to making sure I do a lot of obviously squatting, really working on my legs and lower back, my mid back, bands, a lot of
Mhm.
that. I feel like it's important. Walking has been towards the end, it's been harder for me because she's already kind of dropping and she's low and she's pressing on my pelvic bone. So
Uh-huh.
it's been really hard for me to do anything that requires a lot of like walking, moving. So it's really more doing exercises like steady. Or I try to go in the pool with the boys. I mean, the good thing in Florida, we have pool here, so it's nice weather. So while they're doing their jumping and playing, I can kind of just be in the water, which feels really nice. Um, and then I've been doing a lot of like with a friend who's also pregnant at the same time, like tea ceremonies that we've been able to do together. And we listen to this beautiful music and we kind of drink tea in silence. And, it's kind of like a little meditation that's been really nice to do, and have a
I
friend that's kind of
love
pregnant
that.
at the same time. And acupuncture. And that's been also huge for me. I've done a lot of acupuncture, some cupping. Obviously, towards the end, you cannot do too much cupping because it's not good, but just for like a little bit, and really keeping my body just kind of aligned, not too tight and open. Um, and now definitely starting to feel like I'm nesting, like just kind of really thinking about it more and listening to the right music and kind of just slowing down. I
Yeah.
definitely feel like my body's definitely she's ready. She's coming soon. I mean, she is coming soon. I'm 38 weeks. So
Yeah.
my boys came at 38 weeks, both of them.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's
Could
now
literally
just
happen any day.
yes, slowing down, and that it's okay, and just kind of, you know, enjoying some also moments of being quiet because I'm such an active person. It's okay to just, not sit down, because I don't really sit down much. And when you have two other kids, they don't let you sit down. But just, yeah, have moments of just quiet and, okay, I don't have to go, work out or do do this and that, and just,
Mhm.
even take time to talk to you. So it's nice
Yeah.
before it's gonna be crazy time.
Totally. Okay, so I know that you like live also like a sustainable lifestyle. And so I wanted to ask if there was anything that you were excited that you'd be doing this time around that maybe you didn't know about or didn't implement, with your first or second. Like, I'm just, I feel so strongly about taking small steps in my everyday life to live a more sustainable lifestyle. And, um, but like, I also was not prepared to go as far as like using cloth diapers, let's say. So I wanted to know, like, kind of what are there any things within like the sustainability pillar that you have learned about that you are excited to implement, or something that you've already done that you're looking to do, or things that just like might not actually even be realistic at all?
So yeah, cloth diapers. I think with my first one, I did looked into it. Obviously, that's something definitely my parents have done because they were, when I
Yeah.
was born, there were no any of these kind of diapers that we used to. I mean, we cloth diapers. I don't even know
Right.
how my mom did it with no help. I mean, you have to wash them, you have to stir like in hot water, you have to dry them, you have to iron them. Like I actually can't imagine doing that. For
Yeah.
sure, that was a thought with my first one. No, it didn't happen. It didn't happen my second one and my third one, but definitely I'm very mindful about the products I've been picking and curating. Um, I've always been like that, not just for my children, but just everything I kind of use and do in life. I'm very curious. I like to kind of do my research on things. I don't go by just, oh, somebody said this is the best thing or this is the most expensive thing that we should have. No, I like to kind of compare. I like to read reviews. I talk to people that I feel like I respect or they're like-minded people. And then I kind of make my own, kind of decision about things. But definitely, obviously, everything I have, it's clean. Or I try to find new brands, like new even brands that maybe not everybody has. Like to me,
Yep.
that's really exciting. That I don't just go like what is maybe everybody has. I kind of want to feel like, okay, well, what is the new company and discovery that I like, that feels kind of unique to me, and also I can help and support. um well, with my first son, we actually had to supplement with a little bit formula eventually because I didn't my milk was not enough, so we used to make homemade formula from
Come on.
scratch. Yes, me and
Tell
my
me
husband.
everything.
So it was like an old school recipe. I mean, this was 12 years ago, but you take barley, you tie it in a cloth, and you let it steep and like in water for 6 hours. And that everything from the barley that like releases, then you put it with, we use goat milk, because I'm not big on cow dairy's milk, and for children and just in general in our household, we don't really use it so much. So
Yeah.
we would do goat milk. It's also closer to mother's breast milk, and in terms of how it's the how do you say it,
Like
the
like the
structure,
nutrient.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
and the
like the
structure
dense.
of the
Yeah.
milk. And then we would add like, to sweeten in it. I mean, 12 years ago, we used like the sweetener around that time was brown rice syrup. Then we put probiotics, we put omegas in it. We, added all the different vitamins and nutrients that obviously the baby would need. And yeah, we would make a new batch every 3, 4 days. And we've traveled a lot. In my first one, we were on the plane a lot. And we would be in Paris in like really nice hotels. And we're like, can we go in your kitchen? Imagine in Paris, like in like a beautiful Michelin star restaurant where it's like, everything is gorgeous. Here, my husband with a big pot making formula. I think the hotel to this day remembers those stories. But we did it. We were committed. Um,
Wow.
and then with my second, we didn't do homemade formula. We did a little bit, but then we used Hole because that's a Swiss formula, and they have goat formula option, which we like. And then with this one, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of new brands on the market, which is really exciting. That there are options to not only soy and dairy, but like coconut milk based ones. There are goat ones. There's just much more things out there, which is really exciting. Obviously, with technology and with the information we know. So things are that are more on the U.S. market, they're more accessible. That you don't have to import everything from Europe, which will be great. So that I'm obviously will be looking into. I mean, my goal is breastfeed only, but if I have to supplement, obviously I need to know which formulas I will
Of
pick. But
course.
I mean, I use a lot of obviously Griffin Ivy Rose products. It's a brand that I'm a co-founder of, and we have a beautiful body oil, which is all natural and clean. I've been using on my body, on my belly, and then I'll be massaging my baby girl with. It's just like a really beautiful oil. It has a lot of like goji berry extract and tremolo mushrooms, so super hydrating. It's got all these
Beautiful.
amazing oils like sunflower, safflower, jojoba oil, olive oil. Um, so that's really something. I'm actually in my baby room, so I'm like looking at my, already started to put out things that I'm gonna use. Seal the Deal, which we have, is this beautiful beeswax, chamomile, turmeric, sesame oil healing balm, which I tend to use for breastfeeding for my cracked, chew up nipples. I'm sorry, that's the reality. How at the beginning it is. Well, you know. I mean, at the beginning, well, until your nipples get a little roughened, that's how it is, and
Totally.
that's the beautiful prize.
Well, I love that you're
Okay.
you're you're just as like kind of curious and like investigative as I am when it comes to like holistic products, and I love to take recommendations, do the research, and then kind of figure out also like what's best for me. So I'm gonna have to send you like a little care package or something of the brands that I've discovered, like not necessarily even just for baby, but really kind of like on that fourth trimester postpartum journey for you and like healing and everything. So I'll
Oh
put
yeah,
it
that's a
together.
huge one too. I have a whole cabinet just for that. I need to actually also organize my basket. Like, yeah, I mean, like, pads, like the baths, the belts, and the teas. Absolutely. I mean, there's so much to it, and the actually postpartum, I feel like it's actually very important, something really to focus on.
Yeah,
And I mean, we'll see how that is for me this time, because it
totally.
is a very vulnerable time for a woman.
Absolutely.
There's this beauty. Of course, you're pregnant, you're able to do things, and then you have the baby. That's a lot on you physically. It's a new thing. It's a new dynamic for your family,
Yeah.
and then also for yourself emotionally, right? Like, and physically, like how you feel. You're a lot at home. You're sitting down, a lot breastfeeding. You're exhausted. You're tired. You're emotional. You feel alone. Your partner, it's kind of course, there and supportive, but they don't know. Like, it's hard for them to also understand and, like, you know, understand everything, and
Yeah.
you to talk to them about everything. I mean, there's definitely things. It's not like I'd be like, oh yeah, let's talk about my privates right now. Let me show you. You're not gonna necessarily get there like that. I mean, you will, but not that graphic and detail.
Totally.
So important to have like a friend, even if it's a new friend, somebody, a mom that just went through this.
Yeah.
It's just like, I remember, it was so important for me. Someone I could talk to and cry to, like, oh, my nipples are really killing me right now. I'm like, one of my breasts, it's so hard. What do I do? It's like, it's about, like, it's so hard. It's so coming out, like, someone you can like complain to and cry to. It's so important.
Well, I feel like we could continue this conversation for so long. I have like so many other things that I feel like we would totally jive on, but I want to be respectful of your time.
What about music?
Um,
I mean, when you were delivering, like, like, did you play any music? Did you have
oh
like
my
a
God.
playlist, or did
Yes.
that
Oh
go
my
out of the
God.
window? I think even with me, like my first one, like, I would love to be like this, and I want that playlist. But I remember when it came to giving birth, like, I could care less. Like, what were you playing? There was no time for
It's
music.
It's so funny. My husband actually was fully DJing the situation, and like he was playing like as I was like I basically pushed for an hour, and during that hour it was like all like hype music. Like it was Beyonce, Rihanna, Drake. Like it was like amazing, like amping me up. Like I was like so like in it and felt like really empowered. And
Did
then
they allow you to
as
play music?
yeah, they allowed us to play
That's
music. It was
amazing.
amazing. And all the nurses were like, whoa, this is a vibe. Like, they were like, this is so cool. And then as soon as the baby came, I remember all of a sudden, like, my husband played Halo by Beyonce, which is like one of our favorite songs. And the sun had just risen, and it was just like a magical moment. So I like totally am for having a delivery playlist, a labor playlist.
A
Music is
vibe,
such
as you
a
say, creating a
it's
vibe,
a
whatever
vibe.
it is, like, whether it's your blanket, your playlist, your favorite something that you can bring wherever you go. I think it's,
Yeah,
if you have the time, because sometimes it can go so quick. Again, you
totally.
don't have the time,
Totally.
and
Yeah.
you just kind of like, okay, I'm in labor, and you're in your zone, and nothing else matter. I mean, I always say, like, once you're in that zone, when you're
Yeah.
like literally about to have a baby, like Brad Pitt could come over and like be, looking at you and be like, Brad Pitt comes up, be like, what I mean? I could care less. When you're in labor, when you're about to give birth, no matter who comes, who your idol, who you love, you won't even know they're there. You're in your little zone. That it really, yeah, at that point doesn't matter, because
Yeah. I
you're
mean,
on literally your world.
Even just having even having my own, like, disposable pajama that wasn't the hospital's, that was mine, that I just, like, threw out at the end, but, like, having, like, something that I was excited to, like, put on and deliver in, like, even just, like, got me in, like, was, like, helping me in a zone, you know what I mean? Like, even just, like, small random things like that, like, I really appreciated, like, I liked that I was wearing, like, a solid color versus, like, a bad, like, hospital graphic. You know what I mean? Like, just, like, random small things like that.
Totally, totally. Again, and we're women,
Yeah.
there are things that really matter to us. Like, and also for me, like before, like I know I'm getting closer to like labor, like I'm, made sure I went in time to get my hair color, cut my hair,
Yeah.
getting my manicure, pedicure. I've never really kind of planned that so much with my other two, but again, I've learned because once you give birth, for the next few weeks, a month, there's no time for any of
No
it.
time.
Not like
No.
time to like, so if you can look good, making sure like you don't have like, when you're blonde and when you color your hair, you don't have roots big like this. You don't have like ugly nails because then you look at yourself when you are exhausted because when you're exhausted, you don't feel great and you're more emotional. You're like, I look like crap, look at me. I mean, you have those moments anyway, but if you can like have it less because you just had your nails done and you have your favorite color or you have them nicely buffed or you have your, haircut done or, you had your whatever it is for you that makes you feel like good about yourself, it's so
Yeah.
nice and do it. Like
It's
I'm like, I think it's important. Encourage, or
so
tint your eyebrows if you, or
yeah.
have your tinted lashes because you're not gonna have time maybe wear makeup. But those
I
little things make a difference.
I think that's so, so true. It really does make a difference. And it is a really an important moment for you to feel as confident in your own skin as possible. And if doing, having your manicure, I know for me, having a manicure is very important to me. And I made sure I had my nails done before as well, because you are so right. There is no time once baby comes.
And because when baby comes, there's no time ever because you are never alone ever again. You always have that baby that's gonna keep growing and it's gonna always need you and that's also the beautiful thing that, babies
Yeah,
when they come to our life, you know,
totally.
they give you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure you head to In the Know Parenting for more. I'm Hannah Bronfman, and I'll see you on another episode of In the Know Baby Banter.